All right, everybody. Welcome again to another episode of Mike to Mike. What's up? All the kids are going to pop in randomly. This is so cool. I'm happy about it. I've got my friend Adam Ogle. We've been friends since 1999, bro. 21 years. That's a long time. Long time. He's in charge of homeschool today, which means none of those kids are getting educated today.
Go to work.
I don't have one.
So you've got 4 kids.
Yeah.
It's Ethan, Charlie. Oh, my neck. Sorry. Man, I just woke up, man. I'm not going to lie. I woke up a little late today.
Ethan, Charlie, Audrey, and Sophie.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Audrey and Sophie.
Yeah.
So I got to tell this story. You were, Cecia, your wife, was pregnant with Ethan. And I don't think you were here. I think you were, because you were a missionary into Africa. So I think you guys were still in Ghana. And you were so excited, and you sent me an email of the ultrasound. Like, I want you to see. And in my head, like, I've seen ultrasound pictures, right? So I think it's going to be like the black and white, you know, where it's just like to the side or whatever. But you sent me, like, this is like one of the first time I seen like a 3D ultrasound. And it was like, there'd be pauses. All of a sudden I just see this, wow. And I'm like, what is that? I'm like, you gotta warn me, dude.
It's so true. That is so true.
It was the scariest thing I'd ever seen in my life. Oh,
yeah.
man.
And then they have the sound, like you could hear the heartbeat. So it's like, whoop, 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 whoop. And then like,
Yeah. Seeing a 3D ultrasound with the heartbeat. Ready for it? That was scary, man.
Yeah.
My office just like, doo-doo-doo.
Yeah. It's like, you know how they have those like scary videos you watch where you're like, oh, look for the bear in the background, and then a face pops up and scares you? That was like his ultrasound video.
But it was, well, yeah, because at first you see it and it's like, it's just real still. And then all of a sudden it moved. It was like, what are you checking on? Your kids are like cooking pancakes?
I hear a weird noise, and I'm like, okay, what's going on?
So I remember, so you were a missionary to Africa for a while, and then you came back to the States, and then we worked at a college together, and now you are in Tennessee working as an assistant pastor, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And what are you doing there?
I get to be the bus director here. And so I preach bus team church, you know, visiting, driving a bus route, all that kind of stuff. And then I do other projects around the church.
That's like every assistant pastor.
Yeah.
Like, here's my job. And also here's the 20 other things that I do, you know,
the things I do with
that are nowhere near related to this thing. Yeah.
One of the cool things we've been doing though, like during this whole coronavirus thing, is the local middle school has been passing out food, but they don't have transportation. So I've been driving our church shuttle bus to bring them around to pass out food.
Like their students?
Yeah. So they have like a after school program for middle school. So the leaders of it were trying to pass out food, and they couldn't figure it out. So we were able to partner with them to do all the driving around and stuff. So it's been really fun. And then half my kids go to that anyway, so then I get to see them.
You get to see your kids. That's cool.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
That's fun, man. That's good. I was what were we just talking? We were talking about the awkwardness of Zoom church.
Oh yeah.
So I was telling you that, like, you know, like I do live stream, which live stream's not too bad because I have like, I'll see like the chat and people making comments.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes my kids will come in like with fake names and just say ridiculous stuff, you know?
What?
Not teenagers. No way.
That's shocking.
Can't believe that. And then, but for the most part, it's good. And that one's not too bad, but it's still awkward because it's just me like looking at a camera. There's literally no one there. And I'm like, hey, everybody, pay attention. If that's you, raise your hand. Oh, wait. Hey, over there. Get off your tablet. I know you're on your tablet.
Hey, you in the back. Listen to me when I'm talking.
Turn off the Xbox. Watch me.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, because like you feed off of the audience so much when you speak, especially with teenagers. Like you want to see their reaction, what they're laughing at, and that kind of thing. And so with this format, you kind of have to be like, you have to really get outside of your own head and just go. So
it's like with me is like I try to, I like to tell jokes when I preach and stuff like that. But I only do it if people are laughing. If people stop laughing, I'm like, okay, today's not the day,
I'm not.
I'm over here and I'm like telling jokes to the camera. I'm like, da-da-da. Was it funny? I don't know.
Michael Bugan live. Hey.
I feel so cheesy sometimes. I really do. It's tough, man. So that's why I was like, hey, I'm going to do these Zoom calls and get my friends to feel cheesy too. That's what I want to do.
For sure.
Share the burden.
So
go ahead.
When we were talking about like the story, my youth group here. So every Sunday I preach. I don't know, we have between like 40 and 60 teenagers who come to our teen church. But I've used your stories, like my stories about me and you together so many times. I'm like, they know I'm going to bring up a Michael LeBugan story. Like I have this like 13-year-old girl who's like, not another Michael LeBugan story. And so I'm like, yeah, you know it. You're going to hear it again. This is going to be great. So the one I always tell, like we were working with Brother Cassida doing that Survivor camp. Of course, why not? Oh, speaking of which, I can't tell you this. So we've been watching this show about surviving, not Survivor, but another show, like a realistic survival show.
Yeah.
This guy who like literally can start a fire out of anything. Like it's so crazy. He's like, yeah, I've got over 400 different ways to start a fire. And you're like,
hold up, you paused.
It's really amazing. So his name is Cody Lindeen. Okay. So I'm like anything we do now is like Cody Lindeen could start a fire with this. Right. Cody Lindeen started a fire with an ice cube and an icicle.
I started crying? Oh, fire fuel right here. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. That's it. It's so crazy. So because of that, I was like, Ethan, you need to know how to start a fire. Of course, we live in like suburbia. I've got like 40 houses I can see from my house. So we're like in the backyard. I'm like piling kindling up, chopping wood. Like, all right, you want to form a teepee, get some stuff under there. So originally we started the fire with, I said he could use a lighter. So, okay, first you have to know how to do it with the lighter. So he gets it with the lighter. And then I bought him like a flint and, the scraping thing and the flint and all that stuff.
Magnesium fire starter?
Magnesium fire starter, yeah. So we got that. So we're in the backyard, like the neighbors are looking over, like, what are y'all doing over there? So anyway, now like
all the police.
Like the kids are like, hey, we're on break from homeschool. Can we go outside and start a fire? Sure.
That was a good thing. That was a good thing to start right before this. Perfect timing. What do you guys want to do today? I want to start a fire, Dad. Like, can't start fires every day, guys. Sorry.
Like, no fires till your schoolwork is done.
We only play with fire when our homework's done, kids.
I know. I'm raising a bunch of pyromaniacs. It's not going to be good. The first that you start a fire, like you have sticks and hay and everything, you're like, wow, this is sweet. And then literally 4 seconds later, what happens if I throw a live frog on there? What happens if I do this? Like immediately, like your mind is expanded. Like, what happens if I burn this? Like you're just looking for something to throw in the fire.
Right. All my parents are going to be appreciating the fact that we're having this conversation. Because all the 6th and 7th graders right now are just like, they just got inspired right now by what we've just said. So you're welcome, parents.
Parent or guardian supervision is required. I'm always there with a fire extinguisher, just ready to put down.
Like, I'm watching this Michael Jordan thing. Keep it down to a small fire, Ethan. So we went to this survival camp, and basically it was this week-long extra, it was like a summer. You could get college credit for it. And we would go right after the school year ended that first week, and we'd go up to like this camp in Michigan. And so it was like the first day. This was like the second or third time we did it, right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't like the first one. So then
no, we knew what we were doing.
Well, we would go all out. Like we would go like to Army Surplus and buy, camo fatigues, backpacks. I had my Navy SEAL hat, and I'd always be like wearing it everywhere, trying to look like a bad dude. Okay, so So go tell this story, okay? Because I know which one this is.
Okay, so Mike and I are walking the perimeter. First day, just kind of walking around, getting our bearings, pretending you know how to use a compass. Just walking around, looking around. All of a sudden, you have to know, like, we went to the Army Navy surplus store like 2 days before and bought everything weapon available, like every knife from this size to this size, machete, hatchet, everything.
We did have machetes.
We have all of it on us. Like, I've got 46 weapons on me right now, walking through the woods. I mean, we look like a tinker, like carrying all this stuff.
Yeah.
We're walking, and all of a sudden, like, we just walk up on a wild turkey. And you and I are like, we're eating meat tonight, boys.
We found dinner.
Yeah, dinner. So, like, immediately we whip out everything we have and, like,
which
in our minds, we're literally like ninjas.
Which
right?
None of it is good for catching a turkey.
No.
Nothing that we have prepares us for actually catching a wild animal.
No. It's like in our minds, we're like, I'm going to take this machete and throw it. It's going to curve around the tree and kill the turkey. In reality, it's like, bounces off the limb. Machetes going everywhere, knives.
Everything just looking at us like, what's your problem, dude?
What's up, guys? So Mike is like, charge! He just takes off running after this turkey, like full speed. And I'm like, I've got your back. I'm like, we're running through the woods like.
Why did I think I was faster than a wild animal?
Yeah. Like, man, we have the skill to run down a wild turkey. We are Bible college students. So, I mean, that's just like, it comes hand in hand.
Makes sense.
So we chased this turkey probably 20 minutes. I mean, as fast and as far as we could run. And this turkey is all over the place. I mean, it's up, down. I didn't, it jumps up and soars and flies. And I mean, it runs. And we're just chasing like it was a good 15, 20-minute run.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, man, we almost got it this close. And then, we're like, oh, that was sweet. We're trying to collect our weapons and stuff. We start looking around and we're like, where are we? Like, we're in like a million-acre woods in central Michigan. I know Lake Michigan's that way, or possibly that way.
That tree looks familiar. That tree, yeah, we passed that tree. That was literally what we said. I'm pretty sure one of us was like, no, I remember passing that tree. That looks just like
pine tree looks completely different than the billion other pine trees here. Oh my goodness.
Wait, so then we start walking.
Yeah.
For like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Until finally we hit the road.
Yeah.
We find a road.
Well, we found that field, remember? It was that field. We come into a field and we're like, agriculture. We must be near civilization. Like we're like wild explorers.
I smell it. Yeah.
That sixth sense of domestication.
So then we start walking down the road. We go the wrong way. Then we find someone. We're like, hey, do you know where Fort Faith is? And they're like, yeah, it's 3 miles that way. We're like, we just had to turn right around right there and start walking.
But you missed the Amish guy. Remember, we're like walking because this is Amish country up there. Yeah. So we're walking. It's like a dirt road. We get out of the woods. We finally find this road. We start walking down this road, and we're like, obviously, we did not belong there. And it's like Amish guy in a cart just comes coming by and just looking at us like, those boys.
And we're wearing fatigues. We're like in camouflage.
Full camo, head bandana on, face painted.
Right.
And then that truck came by. We were like, yeah, which way to Fort Faith, man?
That way, man. You got to turn around. It's like 3 miles. So we get back. Our boss is mad at us. Where were you guys? Because we have stuff we're supposed to be doing. And then it's like, we started chasing the turkey and got lost. And then he just started laughing at us. And we still had to do our stuff, and we were dead tired that night.
Yeah. It's no easy task almost killing a turkey. I mean, it's tough.
Almost killing a turkey. Not even almost killing a turkey.
That
Oh
turkey
man, that's funny.
That turkey today is telling the same story to his grandchildren. Like, yeah, you should have seen these two guys.
If you ever see humans, don't be scared.
They have no claws.
They can't do anything to you. I've had experience with them. All right, man. I'm gonna ask you.
Wait, hey,
yeah.
Let me tell you. So I tell that story because I always talk about the path that God has for us and how easy it is for us to get distracted off of that path. Because you and I we kind of knew where we were walking that perimeter.
We were not far from the
Yeah.
camp. We were really close.
Yeah, but this thing jumped in our, oh, wow. We started chasing it. And then 20 minutes later, we are literally, like, if you look at a map of that area, we could have really been seriously lost. But so I always use that to talk about that, how God has a path for us. But when we get distracted off of that path, it's really hard to know where we are in our life at that point and where we're supposed to go from there because we have all these other things going on.
Well, it's like the Bible says, thy word is a lamp unto my feet, light unto my path. And one is when you get off the path, and then sometimes two is you don't take the light with you to help you find it back. And we didn't have compasses.
Yeah.
We didn't have maps. We had nothing. We just, we don't need that. We had Bowie knives and machetes. Like everything we didn't really need, we brought,
Exactly.
like goofy stuff. So no, I think that's a great example. I would use it, except it's really embarrassing. So I won't use that illustration.
I take myself out of the story. I'm like Mike LeBougan and another person I'm well acquainted with.
I was trying to rescue him because he got in a fight with a turkey and lost.
Yeah.
Oh man. So I've just been calling people and asking them, what's some advice that you have for teenagers at this time? It doesn't, whatever, any kind of advice that you would have for teenagers.
Yeah. So I wrote down a couple of things, and the same thing I'm telling you is what I've told our teenagers in our youth group. So this time right here, it's almost like summer vacation. And we have this extended time where we don't have our normal schedule. We don't have school. We don't have our sports programs. We don't have all of our normal routine. And so what happens is we drop down to our least effective state. Like we stay up late, we play games, we wake up late, we play games, watch TV, and then hang on just a second, baby. And then that's all we do day after day after day. And then we look back and realize we just wasted 3 months of our life. And because of this extension, this is going to end up being 5 or 6 months of our life when it's all added up plus the summertime. And so I've tried to tell people you have to establish a schedule for yourself and make some things productive right now. Like some part of your life has to be moving forward, because if you take this next 6 months and just watch a bunch of TV, play a bunch of video games, sleep in, then you've really wasted this opportunity. So that's the principle. And then I've got some specific things we can do.
I like that you said like some part of your life needs to move forward. Like not every part needs to move forward. Like it's just a weird situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
But something needs to, you got to move something forward. Like it doesn't have to be everything, but it has to be something.
Yeah. This is a terrible analogy, but I like to think of it. Right now I'm playing a game, a mobile game with my son called Crashlands. I don't know if any of y'all played that, but so part of that game,
playing Idle Miner.
Yeah. Okay. So every game has like grinding, right? Where you got to go out and collect 40,000 leather pelts before you can make the leather armor, right? And my son and I were laughing about it because this game is like the worst grinding game ever. It's like, you just created a stick sword. Now collect 40,000 more sticks and you get the upgraded stick sword. You're like, yeah, upgraded stick sword, right?
It's like whoever makes these stick swords needs a better process because they go through a lot of sticks, 40,000 is a lot.
These are just getting demolished everywhere. you have your little base camp and like it's barren desert, like miles around it. You just destroyed every tree. Like, look, I've got wooden clogs +1 speed. Yes. So if you take that analogy for this moment right here, there's parts of your life that you can actually work on and become better at. And this is something I've told my teenagers is upgrade yourself. Okay. So find areas of yourself that you can improve on and take this time to do it. I've got several things listed out here. Now, before I jump into that, I want to say, of course, your relationship with God. We have more time at home than we ever have. And the number one excuse for why we don't read our Bible and pray is because we're too busy.
Too busy.
That's what we would say. And now it's like, well, I don't read my Bible and pray now because we don't have an excuse.
Right.
So take that time now. If you're going to upgrade anything in your life, upgrade your walk with God to where it becomes real and you actually communicate with God, where you're praying and talking to him and you're receiving something from his word. If that's all you got out of this whole thing, then you've upgraded yourself.
Dude, a lot. Yeah, for sure. So
once you have that settled, next thing I would say is upgrade the relationship with your parents. It's a little stressful for a lot of parents right now, loss of work, loss of income. They're stressed about you, being at home, your kids, education, all of those things weigh on your parents. This is really a time for a teenager to step up and to say, I'm not going to be a whiny kid running around the house taking from my parents. I want to give back a little bit. And this is a good time to upgrade that with helping around the house. One of the things, one of my children, my daughter, she has really helped out with a lot of cooking around the house.
Charlie?
And that's something, I've
Charlie. Seen that picture. That's super cool.
Yeah, she's really upgraded her skills. Like, before it's like, okay, yeah, you can help out in this little way. Now it's like, okay, she wants to make a dessert or something like that. And that's a huge deal for our family, because we're all here at the house to have something extra that she's doing. So, maybe somebody who's listening would say, yeah, I kind of like cooking. It's something I'm interested in. This is a time to do it. Get your parent or get somebody in the house to kind of help you, show you how to get started. And then, get a recipe, something that you like to. My daughter, I don't want to
sidetrack you too much, but I think that there's something like real beautiful about preparing a meal for somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because you put so much time and effort for someone else to enjoy this thing. And I think that's an awesome thing. If kids were preparing meals and stuff like that, I think it's a cool thing. My wife has been like learning like a ton new recipes and she's like amazing. Yeah. So it's just, but I feel like she's doing better. Like she's happier at home than I am with this whole quarantine thing because she's preparing for everybody. She's doing something that's going to bless everybody in the home. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And find something that you like to, if you have something that you like to eat, make that, that could be the first thing you learn how to do. My daughter and I love, those little no-bake cookies with the oatmeal and the chocolate and all. That's like my favorite thing. And she really likes this too. So like, that's the first thing she really learned how to make well and has done a lot. And then like she expanded there. So find something that you really like and then learn how to do it. And then what's great about that is that's a way to reach out to other people also in your home to say, hey, I made these for you, like you were saying, to cook a meal for somebody or cook a snack for somebody. So find something like that. I'm not musically inclined, but there are some people who are.
Yeah. Me and you, we sang some incredible duets in our time, my friend.
I mean, that's different. But but this is a great time to practice your instrument or get better at it, get a special prepared, and send it to your pastor or youth pastor and say, hey, I've been practicing this. When we do get back, I want to sing in church, or I want to play a trumpet, or I'm going to play a piano or something like that. And that way, this time is not just a big, huge waste. You've taken some time. Oh, there's our cat.
Hey.
Yeah.
I heard it before I saw it, so it made it funny to me. Sorry. It's like, wow.
That was me.
Look at that thing. Look at that thing. That's a fat cat, man. What's up, Ethan? Charlie.
So this cat, it's like a young cat. So like its idea is like, I want to hunt, I want to kill, I'm gonna go around this house. Like it's in its mind like I'm a killer. But like it can't, if it gets out from underneath the couch, one of my children's gonna grab it up and like basically, you remember the old cartoon? I forget the girl's name, but she would like grab every animal and be like, I'm gonna love you.
I love you. Yeah. And they're all like, ah. Yeah.
That's literally this cat. Like if it comes out from under the couch, it's like boom. Everybody's like, ah, give me the cat, give me the cat. Like, no. Oh, sorry, cat. The cat's like,
This cat has like a 40-year-old soul, and she's only a year old. She's like, I'm so tired. I'm so tired.
When it hears the children wake up, it starts to shake.
They're here. They're here.
Like a horror movie for cats. Oh my goodness.
So you're talking about like we got to like find things, and I've been trying to stress that to my teenagers too. Is like find something and get better at it, man. Just like like don't just make the most of this time. So you're talking about cooking instruments. But I really like that idea of like, okay, look, right now is a good time for me to work on myself.
Yeah.
In a lot of areas. I got areas I can improve in.
What's a skill I can learn right now?
There's online courses. Like if whatever they're interested, there's so much information online.
Exactly. Like if you decided today, like, hey, I want to learn Spanish. Man, there's a way to do that. And
yeah, my kids need to learn Spanish.
Yeah.
No,
I'll tell you that, like, that's one of the things I want to do. I want to learn Spanish. So it's like, okay, we'll get some online courses, set up a time every day. I'm going to sit down in front of the camera and work on my Spanish because I would love within a year or two to be able to preach and speak in Spanish.
Yeah.
So like, that's something I can look at myself, but there's other things just exactly like you're saying, get online and you can find tons of resources for it.
Yeah. All right. What else you got?
So I talked about, a lot of our parents or your parents will have a skill that you could learn from them, that maybe they're around the house more than they normally are. I always think about my dad. So when I was 14, my dad pastored a church in Eastern Kentucky, tiny church in a tiny community. And we wanted to build an add-on to the building. And because the church didn't have any bathrooms. So we were going to build this add-on to the back. This is a true story. We had two outhouses.
Oh my gosh, man.
It was terrible. And so we were going to build an addition to the building and put in 2 toilets and a little classroom. And, the church didn't have hardly any money. So my dad said, look, we're going to buy the material and then we're going to build this building, my dad, my older brother, and myself. And we spent a whole summer building what we call the A&J building, Adam and Jason, because that was me and my brother. And then I got to learn all of those skills from my dad, from framing to cement to plumbing to painting,
cool.
all of these things. And today, this is 30 years ago, 25, 30 years ago, I was doing that. Like right now in my house, I do those things. I do little projects here around the house. Even when we were on dorm staff together, we used to do all these little projects. Well, those skills came from that time.
It was basically me just like handing you tools. Usually the Ron tool. Hey, hand me this. No, the other one.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna say something, and you tell me. Were you on the Rice One fiasco?
You say Rice One fiasco like there was only one fiasco.
Okay, it may have been Jeff, but we were painting Rice One. We laid out all the tarps and everything, and so we got some volunteers to help us from the dorms. And one of the volunteers spilled a bucket, but he was ashamed of it, so he put the tarp over the spill.
No, I wasn't part of that.
Yeah, so he puts you lay down the tarp, the cloths and everything in the whole hallway. So he spilled like half a bucket of paint. So it's like a gallon of paint on the ground. We was like, oh man. So he covers it and then steps in it and like walks everywhere at the whole college. Like how did he get a footprint on the ceiling? Like this same kid. Like, we're finding trees everywhere. And you know how it was. It was like, we just got the money. We have 6 hours to paint everything at the college, and we're getting an inspection in 6 hours. So this is like, we're rushing through, and then we're like, oh, well done, roll up the tarps. We're like, like, what is this? We start following track, and we're like, who could possibly have done this? And we see like footprints.
It's like a Scooby-Doo episode. You like literally followed footprints.
Exactly. Into a room. He's laying in his bed with his shoes still on. Paint on both feet.
Caught. Red-footed. You gotta say something super corny like that too. Pull off his mask. Oh,
we found you.
It's Mr. Smith from the farm. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I don't know where we were going with that. Oh, you're saying learning skills from your parents and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of your parents have abilities and skills, and it's a good time to bond with a parent. We talked about the cooking, bonding with the dad about painting, or doing something in the yard, even grilling. I always think about your family. How many times we went over to Alma's parents' house and seeing her dad out there grilling something, just sitting around the fireplace, learning that skill from him. Talking to him is how you connect with your parents and people, maybe a grandparent, aunt or uncle, somebody who's in your household.
I think a good point too is like if you ask your parents or grandparents, hey, can I learn something from you? Like a lot of like parents get really awkward with, I'm just talking because my teenagers, I'm just being honest with them. Like your parents get awkward with you sometimes. Like all of a sudden you're a teenager and they just don't, they're used to dealing with you as a kid. Because when you're a kid, they're the hero and all this stuff. And you're a teenager, it's different for them. And so a good way for you to open up those conversations is, hey, mom, hey, dad, can you teach me something? Yeah. It's a really good way, especially if, you feel a little awkward around your mom or dad. But that's a really good way to open up, a good conversation with them. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And man, when you're a child, the relationship with your parents is that like parent-kid, like you're saying, that unconditional love that kids have for their parents. Well, as you grow older, you want your parents to respect you, and your parents, they want that more of a mature relationship. And you and I know that relationship comes by working together. You and I worked together on 1,000 projects, and that's what made us tight friends. The same with your parents when you work together on a project because you have a common goal. So the project may be cutting the grass. Well, me and Ethan, we're going to grab the tools. We're going to go outside. I'm going to teach him how to use the weed eater. He's going to chase the cat with it. I'm going to tell him not to do that. We bonded. He's going to go start a fire.
He's going to get in trouble, but there'll be some bonding also.
He'll be bonding.
He'll be punished, but we grew closer through it all. Right. No, I think for sure. I think one thing, that's why, and I game. I love video games, man. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 7 consoles in my house.
Wow.
I play them all at the same time. No.
That's the dream. You're living the dream. We used to talk about
that. I mean, I like it, but I have to shut it off sometimes because I know it's like, it's such a time eater. And, then you don't have relationships if all you're doing is just, you're on the games all the time,
Yeah.
And so I know my kids hate hearing that. It makes me sound like an old person. Those video games are ruining your brain. But,
mind out. I'm over here playing mine. I'm actually playing it right now. So, you know how you get on these binge of weird games? So I'm on this binge of, like the card RPG games where you like play your level 4 dragon versus your level 2. Yeah.
Is it like the puzzle ones?
Yeah. Some of them are puzzle based, and then some of them are just like, they got all this different like.
Yeah, dude. I was almost downloaded one the other day, and I'm like, no, man, stop. You need to stop. Just, you have a problem.
I know.
Stop. Right. No, but I do think it's important for kids to I think for teenagers to make that conscious decision. Like, I'm going to go and connect with mom. I'm going to spend some time with mom. I'm going to spend some time with dad. And that means you might be doing something that, isn't necessarily on the top of your fun things to do list. Like you said, like doing yard work, you know, but you're going to connect with your parents. It's going to be a good thing. It's going to help your relationship with them for sure.
Yeah. And you're going to learn something. That's the thing. You know, you're going to become better at something because of this time that you have.
And a lot of kids in my church, a lot of kids, their parents, we have so many blue collar workers.
Yeah.
Our guys know how to do everything in our church. We have like an incredible team of volunteers. And it's like, you guys need to be learning all of those skills, man. We have electricians, carpenters, plumbers. We have just incredibly skilled people in our church.
In college, I mean, how many times, I don't know if do you ever have to change your brake pads in college?
Yeah.
You ever do that? Yeah. I learned how to do that from my dad. Like, you know, we had a little minivan. Dad would be like, hey, let me show you how to do this. And we go out there and change the brake pads on it. And I'm sitting there like, you know, and then you have that moment where your dad's under the car and he's like, pass me the 4/8 doo-walkie. And you're like, what? What are you talking about? Every tool. He's like, no, not that one. You're like,
that's a hammer.
Throwing tools at him.
You just handed me your Game Boy.
You hand him a rock. He's like, no. He's like, if I don't get that tool right now, this car is going to collapse and kill me. And you're like, no. You're like,
you're all crying.
You do no right. Your dad's like, if you're not going to help me, just go in the house.
Just go in the house. I tried. I wanted to connect, Dad.
I don't know what that tool means. Yeah, it's a great learning experience.
And when you go in, you're so mad you grab one tool and it's the one that he needs. You're like storming off.
Fine, I'll take this tool.
I'll take this one.
Yeah. So like probably in college, maybe 10 times I changed my own brakes. And, you know, that's something I learned from my dad.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think it's I think that's super important that our teenagers, like, I really want them to, you know, and I'm not expecting, you know, 100% perfection dedication, but it's like, pick one thing, grab your guitar, get good at it. You know, we have a teen girl in our youth group, and she's really artistic and she's been drawing and stuff. So I said, hey, I want a logo for my show that I'm doing. Cool. So she started working on it. So she's got it. It's looking good. So it's just find good, productive things to do where you're improving your skills that you're already using, where you're increasing your knowledge, where you're, you know, developing your relationships with your family and your parents and your siblings even better. All that stuff I think is like super, super important. All right, man, we're getting there to the time limit. Let me ask you 3 quick questions, okay? I asked Johnny the other day. Okay, so who's your favorite, outside of Jesus, who's your favorite Bible character and why?
I think I probably have to go with Ehud. I usually mention Ehud as one of my favorites. Yeah. So, you know, he's left-handed, which put him at a disadvantage. And he like, I love because he sneaks into the palace. If you read the story in Judges, you have to look it up. I won't give away all the spoilers. But like,
spoiler alert.
Yeah, like he sneaks in with this big old blade on him. Like, he's like, what's up, guys? Hey, how's it going? I'm left-handed. So it's like, I don't know, all of that story. I like it because, like, you have to have a lot of nerve to do that, what he did. And he's like, nah, this is what I'm going to do. Sneaks in with it on his left side. And they never, you know, and then he ends up saving Israel because of that.
Did you know who my favorite Bible character is outside of Jesus?
Okay, yeah.
Absalom.
Really?
Yep. I love Definitely because of the hair. Yes. No, but it's like, I feel like he's the tragic, I feel like he had like a lot of misdirected passion.
Yeah.
And he just didn't know how to deal with his stuff. He needed more guidance. And he ended up down a really, really bad path. Like, I'm not saying that he was perfect or anything. I'm not saying he's a good example, but it's just like his story is, I'm engrossed by that story.
Like the golden boy of Israel. Like, he had so much pure talent and leadership ability. People love that guy.
People loved him. Loved him. It's tragic. Every time I read it, I'm just like, I read it and I'm like, it's going to be different this time. you know, like the story's going to change this time. And it never does, man. You know,
it makes you understand David's mourning when he found out Absalom was dead. Yeah. Like, he was just so crushed because it was like, man, this guy was everything. He could have been.
He was, everything. I feel like he was the son that was most like David. Like, as far as like personality, like people gravitated towards him. Like people gravitated towards David. You know?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay,
Yeah, that's good.
what's your go-to Bible verse or Bible passage that kind of sticks with you through life?
Um, I like in Ecclesiastes where it talks about a time for every season,
Mm-hmm.
and Ecclesiastes chapter 3, and it sometimes we try to look too far to the future of what's going to happen. Right now everybody's like, well, what's going to happen in September when school starts back? What we don't know.
Right.
What's going to happen
And
when we graduate?
it's April still.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that verse always, like, it grounds me into, this is the moment I'm in right now. And at this time, this is what God's brought here. So I have to take this moment. And then I love the end of Ecclesiastes where it says the whole thing of man is to love the Lord and to serve him.
Mm-hmm.
So in this moment, at chapter 3, it talks about a time to dance and a time to be joyful, a time to mourn, a time to be all of those things. There's a time for all of those things. But in each one of those times, I find, what am I supposed to do for God in this moment right here? How am I supposed to live my life in this moment right here? And it kind of grounds me and settles all of the ups and downs of the circumstances of life.
Dude, that just sets me on like this. I feel like people get stuck in seasons.
Yep.
They want their whole life to be like one season, or they've gone through a bad season and then they just extrapolate that through the rest of their life. They just keep on carrying that same type of suffering. And it's like, no, you need to like let's move past it into a different season. You're going to carry some of that over, but let's get to the next season of life where we deal with it differently. Man, that's such a, I could talk like for an hour about that. That's going to actually, I'm going to use that as a sermon.
Yeah, if you really think about that, Ceci and I were just talking, if we had made different choices about where we live and, stayed in another situation, how different our life would be right now.
Mm-hmm.
5 years ago, we moved here. But if we hadn't made that decision, and all the different steps and things like that, and, to me, that represents being stuck in a season.
Yeah. If you would have held on to that season, that was obviously over.
Yeah.
It would have been different for you anyways. It wouldn't have been what you were trying to hold on to.
Exactly.
Dang, bro. I got like a whole sermon over here, man. I'm writing that down. And I'm taking full credit for it. I'm not going to show this video until after I preach it.
Okay.
Okay, and then lastly, what is the dumbest thing that you've said in a sermon? Or you were like, oh man.
There's something that Ceci always makes fun of me for.
Boys, the screen, like at turn to the
I was doing announcements at church, and I'm supposed to come up to the platform. You know how it is in church. If all of a sudden, like, you're not supposed, I don't normally do announcements, and then pastor, like, I'm sitting on the platform, he's like, hey Adam, I need you to do announcements tonight, and like immediately your brain freezes and you're like, I don't know
how to talk. I forgot how to talk. Yeah.
Like, so, and then my kids are on like the 5th row, and I know they're laughing at me. Like, they're like, Dad's gonna be stupid. It's gonna be great. So I'm like, I don't go, be cool. So you're supposed to come up and say, something like, all right, hey, everybody, take out your bulletins and read the announcements. But instead of bulletins, I said bulletin board. So I'm like, take out your bulletin board.
Please
and the
take
kids
out
are like,
your bulletin board.
my own children are laughing at me. So I'm like, I'm beat red. And then it comes in your mind, like, do I go back and be like, what I meant by bulletin board was bulletin? Or do I just like go on like nothing happened? So I was just going on. My kids in the back laughing. So then, of course, everybody knows what they're laughing at. So they're laughing at my kids laughing. And I'm like, yeah, so Wednesday night, there'll be a service at 7:30. Everybody's like,
we have a potluck.
Get out your
bulletin board. I mean your bullets. I mean a bull. I don't know. You can feel the tension.
I know. It's so funny.
That's funny. Well, I want to thank you, Adam, for coming on. Had a good time catching up with you.
Yeah.
Appreciate the advice that you gave our teenagers, and I hope they take it. I hope they take it and use it, improve themselves, and then also, man, finding those connections, and then just accepting the fact that this is a different season and it's going to change. And just worry about what you're doing. Not worry, but just focus on what you're doing this season. I think that'll be good. All right, man. Thank you so much. God bless you.